Yo, what up, guys? Voice of Mr. Solution. So, on today's episode, we'll be looking at BTC chart. Actually, it's a continuation from the last analysis we did, where we said BTC was definitely gonna go to 25k zone, and then from the 25k zone, it will definitely get pushed down. That's really what has happened. You can remember when we did this analysis, BTC was around 23, 22K or thereabouts. And we said there was every tendency of BTC going back to 20, 25K zone and then pushing back. In case you didn't watch that video, I will be leaving the link at the lower section, at the description section of the video so that you can watch that and get acquainted with what we shared there. And BTC has actually touched 25K. It did it here. This was around 15th of August when BTC touched when BTC went to as high as, let me get the exact price. It went to as high as $25,202 before dropping to a 769 dollars. Okay, so that was then, and this is what is obtainable now. Currently, BTC is trading at 21,000. It's currently at $21,400, 21,429 precisely. So the question arises: what is the next thing? Remember, when we did that analysis, what we used was our weekly time frame, and that is actually what we are still using. We are still using the weekly time frame. And when I did this analysis, I shared with us that I was seeing the potentials, the possibilities of BTC actually coming to as low as 13,000, even 8,000, and possibly we could see 4,000. But like I said, it's not something that's going to happen once. Okay, it could even protrude into 2023. That's after then we now have the onset of the bull run. And I shared with us the reason why I said something of this nature was possible. The reason is that many of the time, from my knowledge of analysis, anytime BTC makes a breakout, anytime there is actually a breakout, there is a high potential, there is a high tendency of it coming back to test the area where it's broke out from. Now, looking at this very chart now, this was the top of the 2017 bull run, right? So looking at this very chart now, where do you think the breakout occurred from? Of course, around here. Yeah, of course, around here. We have this top here. That was $13,400. And then there is still this one here. So from that, having that mindset, from that notion we've already established, there is actually a tendency or a high possibility of BTC coming down to 13,000, possibly 8,000. And if care is not taken, we could see 4K. But like I said, it's not something that will happen once. Okay, it's actually a long-term thing. Okay, so what this thing helps you to do is that it helps you to plan your trade, especially if you're an investor. It helps you to know what to look out for, and then know the right time for you to start buying, or for you to start DCA. Of course, DCA is always the best strategy for long-term investor. That's basically what I've been doing with a couple of tokens I pretty much believe in. So I've been DCAing in them and all that until I have reached my threshold, or to have reached the quantity I am looking at, okay, keeping for long term. All right, so now let's go to the lower time frame. We are using the weekly here, so let's go to the daily to also see what the daily time frame is showing us. Okay, for the daily chart, we can see this here. Okay, this was the we had this bearish flag here that eventually led to this breakdown. Okay, it broke out in the negative. In other words, it broke down. Now we can't exactly see what is happening here until we switch to lower time frames. So let's look at 4 hour to see what 4 hour time frame is actually showing us, right? So for here now, for this very place now, we can see this very chart pattern. This is called a bearish pennant, right? After a series of drop down, and then there is this accumulation that is going on here. So this is called a bearish pennant. Now, of course, just as the name connotes, bearish pennant means it's a bearish chart, right? But then I'm seeing something. Remember, like I told us, that whenever BTC breaks out, there is a tendency of it retesting that place where it broke out from before continuing in the right direction. So if that is the case, I am thinking there is a possibility of BTC. Look at what is happening here now, right? Look, if you look at this, you see that we've been having a series of higher lows, right? Higher lows, showing that the bears are kind of exuding some element of strength. The bulls are exuding some element of strength here, so to say. Okay, so I'm thinking that there is a possibility, there is a chance of this thing continuing. It could continue, maybe get to, it could continue and probably get to as high as we could see 22K or thereabouts. We could see 22K, 22K7. I don't know. So I'm saying that there is still a chance of this thing going up from further from here, going up further from here. Look at if you draw this thing very well now, okay, if you just try to touch the various lows that, okay, we have here. So there is a chance of this thing continuing, right? There is a chance of it continuing and maybe keep going up, and probably it touches maybe let's say this, remember this, look at this very place now. It's actually a very key area to focus on. So here we have 22,400 dollars, and then there is still one here that's 22,600. So yeah, you definitely, you need to be bearish, but also you need to consider this fact that, like I said, whenever BTC breaks out, there's a chance of it retesting that place that you broke out from. So keep your eyes open, keep your eyes glued here, and focus on this. When you see a series of higher lows, yeah, a series of higher lows and a series of higher highs after a drop down, it connotes a pennant. It connotes a pennant, and most of the time, whenever it happens, what it shows is that BTC is trying to, or that very coin is trying to test that very place where it broke out from before continuing. So I'm thinking that in the long term, remember, this thing is not going to happen immediately, right? It's not something that will just happen between today and tomorrow. So I'm thinking that there's a chance of BTC coming back to 22,500 or 22,600, even 22,700, and after then it will definitely start dropping. So these are the key things you need to focus on, right? So from the 4-hour chart, we have this. So overall, BTC is still bearish. There is no gainsaying the fact. But remember that price never moves in a particular direction, right? It never just starts moving and keeps on going in that direction. There's a couple of detours. It makes a couple of detours, but that doesn't really mean that the direction has changed. So we are still seeing we are still pretty much in a bearish market, right? We are still in a bear market, and this is what is obtainable for now. This is what I'm looking at. Potency of BTC testing 22.6, 22.5, 22.4, and then from then it will not get swept. It will be swept down to, of course, other lower regions. Okay, so this is just a little thing I wish to share with us. And before I round off, I want us to footnote something. Whenever there is a bear market, I've come to understand that BTC usually retests more of the lows than it tests the high. Whenever, that's one of the characteristics of a bear market. Whenever a market is bearish, the coin or the market or the stock or the commodity or whatever it is, or the currency, usually retests more of the lows than it retests the high. What do I mean? Look at this very place. Now, this was when BTC dropped to 17,600 or thereabouts, $17,600 or thereabouts. So this is actually an established low. And then from what I had said earlier, that during bear markets, the coin or the stock or whatever it is usually retest more of the low than it tests the highs. So having that at the back of our mind means that there is still a chance of BTC coming down to this very low it's when it dropped to before, which was 17K. All right, but remember, it won't happen between today and tomorrow. So these things are just long-term views about the market, and it will help you to adequately prepare yourself in anticipation of what is to come. Okay, look at also the 1-hour charts. You can see the same, all of them are painting the same portrait. Actually, 4-hour and 1 hour, most of the time, they always share the same information. They always share the same data. That's what I've discovered over time, right? So whatever you glean from 4-hour, 1 hour can as well show you that. Okay, so that's pretty much all about it, and I hope this has helped you. I hope this prepares you to adequately, equip you and in anticipation of what to come, and also help you to make better preparation in terms of your trading and your investments. Till I come away again, Mr. Solution. Answer here. Salute.